Jupiter at night, we are live before an internet audience. Dude, Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Jupiter at Night. My name is Chris.
My name is Jeremy.
Hey there, J-Man.
Hi.
Happy Thursday.
Thanks.
You know why I'm always excited about Thursdays, right?
Because we get to do the weekend show.
I know it. It's
we get
our
to have
Friday.
a weekend early.
And this weekend, I think pretty much those of you out there that are going to the movie theaters will be going to see the new Green Hornet movie.
You poor saps.
Yeah, to be honest with you, the early buzz is kind of bad.
It's kind of neat that we're bookending our entire week of shows here with superheroes on both ends, though. That's kind of fun.
That's kind of what we figured. I know some of you guys might be going, another superhero movie, but we've actually got something kind of fun planned for you. We figured since Monday was superhero-esque, Thursday should be too, and we thought since the Green Hornet movie is coming out, maybe we're not as excited.
I don't think either of us is planning to see it in the theater.
No.
Maybe if we get dragged by somebody.
Yeah. But I am more excited about some of the movies coming out later in the year, so we'll talk about some of those. Do you want to share some thoughts on the Green Hornet movie, though? Why aren't you excited about it?
Well, first of all, I don't think Seth Rogen is a superhero. I'll just come out and say that right off the bat. The guy made his living and is most notable as being this lovely, lovable, chubby
funny
pothead,
guy.
You know? I mean, that's kind of the image that he was going with.
He definitely tried to trim up for this movie.
Oh, he had to. In fact, I've actually got a kind of a funny article linked in the show notes about the ordeal he had to go through to lose weight and how much he hated it.
Really?
He said after they're done shooting this, the weight's probably going to come back on in a matter of hours.
You gotta like that about a guy, though. That's just honest. He's not worried about being the buff movie star guy. I don't want to prejudge based on that it is Seth Rogen, but it's happening.
You know, I think one of the reasons that I'm disappointed with it is Seth Rogen was kind of on track towards the beginning of his career he was nerdy enough that I think he could have kind of become like a Bruce Campbell of the next generation.
I could see it.
But now he's kind of gone so mainstream. Now he's an action star, and he might end up going that route.
We'll see, right? I mean, the early reviews on Metacritic are bad. In fact, they're so bad that as we record this, as we started prepping, you saw the number
score
at 40.
Went down.
Yeah, you saw it at 46. As we shoot the show, the Metacritic score is at 42 now.
That's a good trend, right?
No. I saw one of the reviews that I jumped on tonight called it, I think it was Roger Ebert, said that it was a demonstration of the most intolerable movie he'd ever seen or something like that. It was bad, yeah.
Whoa.
It was a pretty bad review.
Now, even though it's getting bad
Netflix,
reviews, though, apparently it's doing pretty well ticket sales and is slated. This might be because it's January, which is a bad movie month.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be doing very well to do well in January.
Well, and as we record this, the movie has 3 hours, 57 minutes, and about 18 seconds before it's released. So it's that early first movie night. I guess for a movie like this, you can almost expect it to do well because it is the Green Hornet.
And everybody that's going to be seeing it that weekend is kind of predisposed.
Exactly. That's when they're seeing it.
Yeah.
That's not us.
Nope.
I'd like to know, though, if anybody out there did go see the Green Hornet, maybe you're watching this a couple days later, let us know your impressions on it because maybe we're totally wrong.
Now, on the subject of green, you like that segue?
Yeah, I do.
And superheroes. There's actually one that's caught me by surprise. It's coming out this year. For the rest of the show, we're basically going to sweep Green Hornet aside and talk about other superhero movies that are coming out later this year, or maybe next year. But they're buzzing now.
The ones we're actually excited about, or at least a couple of them. Yeah.
So Green Lantern.
I am excited about Green Lantern.
This caught me completely by surprise. I was never a fan of Green Lantern as a superhero. Even the Justice League cartoons that featured him, I'd be like, oh, it's Green Lantern. Whatever.
I was kind of there with you, too, until more recently I jumped into Netflix, and they had a bunch of Green Lantern, well, not a bunch, but they had a couple of key Green Lantern stories in the Watch now, or Watch Instant, and you get that on there. You download, you watch, you stream that, you get some nice backstory of the Green Lantern, and then there's all of a sudden a new appreciation I had for that
I think
story.
That's true about most superheroes is once you begin to understand them, you begin to like them.
Well, some superheroes I think you kind of get immediately. Spider-Man, Batman, Superman. I think
Punisher, right?
Punisher is a great example of a superhero that
you got to get into to enjoy it.
But sometimes some of those superheroes are a better payoff. I know that sounds like a weird thing to say, but there's a certain class of superhero everyone loves, and a certain class you got to research.
You know what's funny is I actually saw somebody on Twitter, on my Twitter feed the other day, say, so what's the difference between Green Lantern and Green Hornet? And my immediate reaction was,
yeah,
because they're so completely, drastically, incredibly separate from one another. They have practically nothing in common, except that I think they're both DC franchise.
And they both have green in the name.
Yes.
But other than that, that's where all the similarities stop, right there.
But there's enough of a contingent out there that apparently don't know the entire difference between the two.
Oh, sure.
That this movie was originally slated to be released last year. They had a number of budgetary and personnel changes at the last minute. Hornet.
Hornet was, okay.
So they decided to put it off, and the studio, I forget who the studio is. I think
I was
WB
just checking to see if I could find it, and I don't see it.
Was planning to release it this coming summer instead, because they thought it's a summer movie. It's a summer blockbuster type movie.
Yeah.
But then they realized that Green Lantern was coming out at the same time. They didn't want to have Green Hornet and Green Lantern in the studio, in the theater at the same time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I totally understand that.
So the whole reason it's being released now is because they've got Green Lantern coming.
Oh, so it's getting released early.
Yeah.
Now, also coming up pretty soon, I don't know the exact date. I think it's May, but I don't know the date, is Thor.
Yeah, I don't think we have a finalized date.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Thor, I'm nervous about.
Me too.
But it could be really good. And you know what? I saw some screenshots, or I don't think you call them screenshots. What do you call them?
Stills.
I guess.
Production stills?
I saw some production stills that made it look a little more like what Batman Begins did to Batman.
A successful reboot?
Yeah, a little darker, a little more rougher around the edges.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's a little overused now. I don't know. We'll see. But
I think it's a sign of the
I think it's the direction you have to take Thor. You have to go in that direction with Thor, I think, to make that work.
Thor, they have a new extended trailer that actually just came out like a week ago, and I've got a link in the in the show notes.
How'd it look?
It looks fantastic.
Okay.
The guy playing Thor also, I was immediately impressed with him when he played the Captain Kirk's dad in the new Star Trek.
Yeah. Oh, yep.
I thought he played the hell out of that scene. I thought he was great.
Yeah, he did. That whole flying it into the bad guy.
Well, and all the emotions on his face when he was sending his wife off, and he was
talking to her over the comm,
and he knew he was going to die.
That was a great scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Did it have that darker edge feel to you too?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Plus, it's got Natalie Portman. I'll watch anything that she's in, honestly.
I can hear that.
Yeah.
Now, X-Men 3 left a bad taste in our mouths, but maybe there's a chance.
So did Wolverine.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It did. Maybe there's a chance, though, that they have the opportunity to redeem themselves with X-Men First Class?
Possibly.
June 23rd. Or June 3rd. June 3rd, right?
Yeah, June 3rd.
June 3rd, X-Men First Class will be coming out. It's a reboot.
Yes.
It's a
prequel.
Right? Yeah, it's a younger version of the cast or something like that. It's like the same heroes, isn't it?
It involves Patrick Stewart.
Okay.
But he's not playing Professor Xavier. He's doing voiceovers and things like that. As an older version of himself. No.
So that sounds ridiculous.
He's doing like flashback dialogue and stuff like that. But the actor actually playing him as a young him is not him.
First of all, you cannot have someone else play Patrick Stewart. That's like someone else playing William Shatner.
But it's somebody else playing Professor Xavier, not somebody else playing Patrick Stewart.
There's no difference. Patrick Stewart is Professor Xavier. There's no difference. He's the perfect Professor Xavier.
He absolutely is. I totally agree. But when you got to cast somebody that's only in their 30s, you got to cast somebody in the 30s. I mean, you don't really. I don't know. This whole movie takes place in the 1960s. So everybody's
what you're making are all very logical, very valid arguments. But what I'm telling you is on an emotional level,
you cannot Patrick Stewart.
And if you can change as much as they change in these movies from the canon, just take that old age slider and on your script software, just go and drag that age slider.
Why don't they just pull a Flynn?
Huh?
Pull a Flynn.
What's a Flynn?
From Tron.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't perfect,
maybe
but you know what? I'd rather have Patrick Stewart.
Well, let's be fair. They kind of did pioneer the Flynn technology in X-Men 3. Remember that opening scene? Him and Magneto show up with the 20 years younger technology. That was one of the first times I think we'd seen it.
No, I think that they used more of a layer over technique for that. They weren't 100% created. Yeah. But still,
you're right. You're right. Yeah. And I would love to see that happen for Patrick Stewart. I guess it's irrational, but it seems like if they can tweak so many things with canon, why can't they tweak Professor Xavier's age?
I don't know.
And then just have it be
They've
Patrick
chosen
Stewart.
not to, and I think that that's one of the things that actually a lot of people are going to have a beef with. The guy playing Magneto, young Magneto, is a totally different actor as well. And they're going to have Cyclops and his brother Havoc, and neither of those are the original actors. So
I'm okay with that.
Beast.
I was not big
they're
on the
going to have a younger
Cyclops guy.
Beast, and it's not going to be Kelsey Grammer. So it's a total reboot of the cast.
See, here's what's dumb about
but
that.
But it still is considered a prequel to the movies that we've seen.
It seems like movie Hollywood types just don't know what to do with Beast. Like Beast, they got in the comics, but Beast just sat around, and Beast just sits around in the new X-Men movie.
I'm actually hearing some pretty good things about his role.
Good,
because he was one of the original X-Men.
Yeah,
and he had a very dominant role in defining their role in the world.
Well, yeah, because otherwise you might as well just leave it Kelsey Grammer if you're not going to have him run around doing stuff.
Right.
So make Beast useful.
Right.
All right. So I'm definitely gonna have my butt in the theater for X-Men First Class, and there's another movie. Boy, I'm holding my breath, man.
Now, this one makes me even more nervous than Thor because, to be honest...
It could be really good, though.
It could. It could be great, but they're making a few choices that I don't know will go over all that well with modern audiences.
All right.
So we're talking about Captain America.
Let's talk about Captain America.
They're setting 90% of the movie in World War II, which makes sense to do a Captain America origin story in World War II.
Yep.
But I'm not convinced that modern audiences can buy into a World War II superhero story with Nazis and super Nazis and things like that. I'm not sure it'll go over with them.
I think it can. If you look at the time that's passed, relatively speaking, from when the World War II was happening and all the stuff with the Nazis, relatively speaking, Indiana Jones came out not that long ago.
Right.
And that took place with those elements. That was successful.
Yeah.
I personally, and I think this is why I think it might work, is I think there's a generation out there that sort of idealizes...
Hellboy, too. Somebody in the chat room just pointed out. Hellboy had Nazis as well.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Very nice. Thank you. Who said
Malarick.
that? All right. There's a generation out there, at least I consider myself, maybe this isn't for everybody, but there's a generation out there that sort of idealizes that generation. I think, in some levels... Like my grandpa who fought in World War II, that was America's greatest generation. I sort of have
He was a superhero.
I idealized that time. So, in fact, last weekend, I sat down at Google and I said movies that take place during World War II time period. Not movies that are in World War II, but movies that were filmed during World War II, just because I wanted the real true essence of that generation to come through their other works. You don't necessarily get that in a movie meant to be World War II.
I think you're winning me over to your argument, by the way.
Yeah?
But plus, in addition to that, World War II was kind of a golden era for comics. I mean, it was... I think they even called it the Silver Age or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was...
Plus, the other great thing about World War II is you get away from all of the political, corrupt government, Middle Eastern garbage that we are completely hammered with every day, and you go back to a scenario where it was truly, honestly, clear-cut good versus evil.
Yeah.
And we were on the side that was good, and history agrees with that. That's debatable now in some cases. And
so now I've been talking up this film so much.
See, that's why Transformers takes place in the Middle East. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that Transformers both times has taken us back to the Middle East. It's
that's true. Even if it's just a reminder, even if it doesn't actually involve Iraqi troops or anything like that, it's just it is a reminder.
That stuff is so depressing and so heavy that I go to a movie to get away from it. And so I think this could be a huge, great step for Captain America.
Now, if this movie is not great... And I don't mean even good. I mean, if this movie is not great, it casts a really dark shadow over the possibility of the Avengers film coming in the future.
I agree with you.
Thor does the same, but Captain America is the Avenger.
Right.
They're even calling this movie the first Avenger.
Yep.
So, I mean, if it doesn't do well, all of our hopes and dreams have been shattered.
Oh, no.
I mean, that's kind of what Marvel has been building up to over the past several years. It's like... That's their goal, and if we don't get there, then what's the journey been for?
We talked about it. If you listen to old Cast of Blasters, we talked about it. We were excited. Now, there was also some information about a new Batman movie.
The Dark Knight Rises, if you haven't heard the
But
official...
it's probably going to be 2012.
Probably, yeah.
I kind of want to skip over that. I know it's going to be another 2012 movie, but I want to talk about the new SpiderMan reboot because it's got me all worked up.
We got a couple links in the show notes for Batman, though, if that's your joint.
And we've got trailers for a lot of the movies we talked about in the show notes, too, if you want to see
trailers. If they have trailers, yeah.
Let's talk about this new Spider-Man movie, dude.
Okay.
So, it's a Spider-Man reboot.
You know, surprisingly, coincidentally, this picture you're showing right now came out this morning.
Oh,
That's
awesome.
the very first shot of the new actor in the Spider-Man outfit.
Awesome. So, what do you think?
That outfit is a little weird. If you look on his arm and everything, and the logo on his chest, maybe he's just gotten the crap beat out of him, and that's the reason for the messed up logo.
Up, and the logo looks like it's been pretty messed up.
But it looks like they are taking a slightly different slant on the suit.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, Spider-Man
is very thin, very slender. Which
is good, I think.
Well, Tobey Maguire, is that who did this?
Yeah.
Here's Tobey's Spider-Man, and you can see he's a little bulkier. I noticed the way Tobey's arms hang.
Mm-hmm.
So the way
he was clearly working out his upper body. That's the kind of thing that happens when you're toned up there.
Well, and he's been bitten by a radioactive spider that gives him incredible strength. So it's logical that he might be a little more muscular.
I think that the build of this new actor, I keep forgetting his name, George something, I think.
It doesn't matter.
But I think that the build that he's got going there, the slender, sleek, kind of acrobatic look, I think works better for Spider-Man.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that. I can see the acrobatic angle, and I am just so poopy face about this movie. I got hater pants.
I think the timing is way off.
Wedgie.
I think the timing is way off. We should be expecting the next Spider-Man sequel about now, and instead we're getting a reboot.
It's like I said on the live stream before the show, is we just got done doing all of this Spider-Man.
Not that I am a proponent of another Spider-Man sequel. That's a terrible idea.
I know, that's the problem. That's the problem. That's the conclusion I came down to is, I feel like Spider-Man 1 was Spider-Man homework. I went to the movie theater. I watched a Spider-Man movie all about the origins of Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. I went home with my paperwork. I filled out my test, and then the next year I came back and said, "Okay, here's my Spider-Man. Here's my Spider-Man report.
Can I watch a real movie now?
Can I watch the movie about Spider-Man now? How he does stuff?" And I kind of got that in movie number 2. Remember, when he was all like webbing up and stopping that train and stuff. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spider-Man, I actually really enjoyed 2. I know that some people poo-poo on it, but
I like 2 as well.
I love Dr. Octopus and the whole.
So
thing.
I was like, okay, great. Oops, sorry, folks. I was like, okay, great. Spider-Man 1 was totally worth the homework because Spider-Man 2 was good. Spider-Man 3 is going to be amazing. No. Spider-Man 3 sucked.
Apparently, we failed on our notebook or on our homework.
But here's I still did my homework. And I did it really well.
We must have had a substitute teacher.
I do not want another reboot. I don't care if it was a sub. I turned in my paperwork. I don't want to have to watch all that again.
Yeah.
I honestly may not even go to opening night.
That actually brings me to the next thing that I want to talk about is the Superman reboot that's been getting thrown around.
Oh, I'm about to walk out, Jeremy.
I won't cover too much about this then because we recently got a leaked production schedule for Superman. And nobody knows if this is 100% legit, but nobody's also denying it. So it very well could be.
It sounds like it's going to be another origin story.
Yeah.
And
they've got shooting in Smallville, and that just means that it's going to be an origin. How many times do we need to see the origin of Superman?
It's going to be directed by Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
And that's a name that sounds familiar, so I know he's actually done...
I think he did Mission Impossible 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that.
But, what do you think?
Oh, he did 300.
Are you ready for... interesting, the director of 300 doing a Superman movie. Huh. I don't know what my brain thinks about that.
Ask your brain to get back to you.
What did you think
later.
of Superman Returns?
It was not great, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah?
Yeah. And I thought Brandon Routh made an incredible Superman.
He's a little emo, but I agree. I like Superman Returns as well. So he's done...
How can Superman not be a little emo, though?
Watchmen, that's what he did. Watchmen is...
Oh, right.
Yeah. And, I could see the guy that did Watchmen doing Superman. It says the name is going to be Superman, Man of Steel, out in 2012. And
it's another reboot, so we're going to have to go through all the introductions and everything like that. Now, I don't think we need a Superman reboot. I think that ship is kind of sailed. I don't think it's necessary.
It's like explaining something that we, as an entire culture, grew up learning.
Now, just to sidetrack back to Spider-Man, though, for a minute.
Lay it on me, sir.
The reason I'm not as poo-poo on the origin story there, though, is that they're finally, it sounds like, doing more justice to the original origin story of Spider-Man.
You were mentioning a little bit about that.
See, in the original story of Spider-Man, it was the death of his Uncle Ben and the death of his girlfriend, Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
Gwen Stacy.
So before Mary Jane.
Before Mary Jane.
Okay.
At one point, he's going up against, I think it's the Green Goblin. He has to make a choice on whether to save a bunch of people or Gwen. They actually did that scene.
I love those.
They actually did that scene in Spider-Man 1, I think. But he ended up saving both.
Yeah.
In the comics, he didn't. Gwen died because he saved the other people. So that's one of the things that made him come into this, like, with great power comes great responsibility sort of thing. And so that kind of made the Spider-Man character. The fact that they're rebooting it with Gwen Stacy involved at the beginning, she was in Spider-Man 3 as like a throwaway secondary.
I recall, yeah.
That was fail.
Yeah.
But doing it from the beginning, I think, has a chance to make it more of a Spider-Man.
More honest to the original story. I like that.
But But Superman's been honest to the original story in every adaptation we've always had. He's a alien from Krypton that crashes in Smallville. The Kents raise him. He goes to high school. He goes off to Metropolis, meets Lois Lane, works at the Daily Planet. It's always the same story.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we need to see all that again?
I really don't need to see Spider-Man either, but I do appreciate at least a different telling of it. If I gotta watch it again, I don't mind having a little bit different version of it at least. That's why I kind of like Smallville. To be honest, it's kind of it's like Superman, but I don't know what's gonna happen next.
Right, because they're rewriting their own thing. Yeah. That's actually why that comic spinoffs like Superboy have come out, which is kind of like a Smallville in comic world.
Yeah, it is. Did you know in the 90s there was a Superboy TV show?
Yeah.
Did you ever see that?
No, but I do remember hearing of it. Yeah. It was awful?
Yeah. All right, and I watched Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. I have them.
Oh, those were awful.
I've watched Smallville for 10 years. And I'm saying that Superboy show was bad. So I'll just put that out there. All right, everyone. Well, thanks so much for watching tonight.
Check out our show notes. We've got so much information about all this stuff.
Tons of trailers,
comic
tons
book
of pictures,
movie geeks.
More information about The Dark Knight. Got to check out Sucker Punch, which you didn't even get to.
Oh, I didn't even mention we were talking about Captain America.
Yeah.
I was really excited about this. I found out Hugo Weaving, Agent Smith, is playing Red Skull.
Oh.
Captain America's nemesis.
He's a good bad guy.
Yes, he is a great bad guy.
That's a great role.
And he's no stranger to special effects.
This could be good.
Yeah.
This could be a good movie.
Yeah, it could be.
No release date yet, though. So,
It was supposed to come out this year, but I've got doubts about that.
Yeah.
Maybe in time for the holidays, though. Possibly.
Maybe that will be our holiday movie. I bet you we'll review it right here on Jupiter Night. And, of course, if you'd like to see those reviews live or any of the other shows that we do live, tune in Tuesday.
Why do you do that?
Because it just rolls off the tongue. Tune in Tuesday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Pacific over at jupiterbroadcasting.com/live. And this week, if you do watch the live stream, we'll have clips of a 1940s Green Hornet TV series that I dug up on archive.org.
It's coming out this weekend.
Yeah. So why not play some of the original classics? That'll be streaming in the reruns when we're not live. When we are live this weekend, it'll be things like, Lotso on Friday, Stoked on Saturday, and the Linux Action Show on Sunday. And you can find all the times for those shows over at jupiterbroadcasting.com/calendar. Yeah?
That's it. That's the show.
Okay, everyone. We'll have a very, very fantastic weekend. If you go see it, let us know.
Tell us about it in the comments or over on jupitercolony.com. That's our forum. Let us know about it.
If enough people say they liked it,
I might twist our arms.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, everyone. Well, thanks so much for watching tonight's episode of Jupiter at Night, and we'll see you right back here Tuesday night.